Hello everybody, it's Brian for GadgetUnit.com, and in this video I'll be taking a look at the iPhone 5S versus the iPhone 4. Now the 5S came out last year, not even a year ago, while the iPhone 4 came out just over 4 years ago, so there is definitely an age difference between the two devices. And in this video I just wanted to do a non-scientific comparison, primarily looking at speeds between the two devices. Both devices have the exact same apps installed, the exact same jailbreak tweaks installed, and the exact same music library, although I don't think that would have any effect on the performance. Lastly, they are both running a jailbroken copy of iOS 7.1.2. So the first test that I wanted to do was a basic boot test to see which device boots faster, and I can already tell you that the iPhone 5S obviously just demolishes the 4, so let's go ahead and push the power buttons at the same time. So the screen came on both devices at pretty much the same time, so let's just see which one boots up first. So finally, after well over a minute, the iPhone 4 finally booted up. Now let's go ahead and start with a simple app loading test. In this test, I'll go ahead and open the Settings app. Obviously, there's an advantage for the 5S. Now let's see which one brings up the OXO2 multitasking interface the quickest. The 5S felt pretty much instant, although the 4 wasn't too far behind. Let's go ahead and close out of whatever's open. Now let's go ahead and see which one opens Cydia the fastest. So for this test, pretty much by the time the 5S finishes downloading the new repo updates and reloading data, the 4 just opens up Cydia. So let's close this one out. Let's go ahead and do a basic game, such as Flappy Bird. Very fast on the 5S. Not too bad on the 4, it's a pretty respectable speed at least. And they both appear to be running at 60 frames per second, which is to be expected since this is a very simple game. Let's do another game. Let's do a more graphics intensive one. This time let's do Carmageddon. This one should be interesting. So the 5S is already at the little intro video for the game itself, while the 4 is just now doing things with Game Center, and now it should be at the intro video, so there that is. Let's go ahead and skip it. Let's go to Start, and let's load the setup that's already set here. Not too bad on the 4. Given the nature of this particular game. Now in terms of frame rate, the 5S is just a solid, never under 60 frames per second frame rate, so that's nice. Whereas on the iPhone 4, it is a bit sluggish, but it's consistent at least, and it seems to work fairly well. It's totally playable, so there aren't too many issues there. So that is Carmageddon. Let's go ahead and close that out. Let's do one more game. Let's go ahead and try Crazy Taxi. Then we'll open up a few more basic apps, and that should conclude the video. So by the time the 5S, or excuse me, the 4 actually shows something, the 5S is pretty much finished. So let's go ahead and rotate the screens. There we go. The 4 was a little bit slow there. Now in the menu itself, you can clearly see that the iPhone 4's frame rate is very sluggish compared to the 5S. And like Carmageddon, the 5S plays this game at a solid 60 frames per second. And just waiting for the 4 to load, there we go. You should be able to clearly see the frame rate differences right now. Like so. And that concludes taking a look at the games. Now let's go ahead and open up a few more basic applications. I'd like to go ahead and open up Facebook because that's an app that loads very slowly on even the 5S. So let's see how long it takes on the 4. So the 5S is finished and still waiting for the 4. Still waiting for the 4 to actually load the feed here. And that's pretty much that. So let's go ahead and close out of Facebook and let's do Tweetbot this time. Very fast on the iPhone 5S, of course, whereas the 4, while it did take a little bit longer, it's not too bad of a speed for this particular app. The developers really did optimize it for performance, which I very much appreciate. Let's go ahead and open up QR Reader. A little bit slower on the 5S than usual for some reason, but the 4 was not too far behind, so let's go ahead and open up another app. This time let's go ahead and open up Shazam. Very fast, whereas on the 4, definitely takes a few more time, or a little bit more time rather. Next up, let's go ahead and open up the Sling Player app just to see how long it takes to get to the main menu. Less than a second on the 5S. On the 4, it's still taking its time. There we go. Next up, let's go ahead and open up the TV Guide application. The 5S just finished, while the 4 just started. It's also much slower at loading the TV listings than the 5S. And now let's go ahead and open up the Watch ESPN app. Finished on the 5S, and on the 4, just finished it up. So you can see that the experience on the 4 isn't very pleasant, at least in terms of raw performance and maybe some smoothness of the animations and the graphics. Although considering it is 4 years old and that it runs the latest version of iOS that's currently available, it's really not too bad. I will be selling my 5S soon, and I will be using the 4 for a couple of weeks while I wait for the 6 to come out. So really, I am critical of performance in most cases, but given the hardware that this has, I'm really not too bothered by it. So that's it with this video. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback about this or anything else, feel free to leave those down below in the comments area. But that's it with the video. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you all very soon.